Yo, we back again.
We the ones. The heavy hitters are back.
Another video.
Hey, we in full motion.
We coming with another video, man. We've been going crazy, bro. This episode 23.
We on 20s for sure.
This episode 23.
We in the 20s for sure.
Yeah, 23.
We just did episode 22. This episode 23.
And we concluded with 21.
Yeah. So this we've been grinding though, bro. Like I remember when we first started back with episode 1, and it was like, bro, can we really get to 30 episodes of this? And this is just us talking. We really got more to come to show y'all. We got more stuff coming.
For sure.
Is the show gonna get better? We gonna get equipment. It's gonna look good.
Y'all gonna see things from the show that y'all never seen us do before. 2023
gonna be that year that we break out with this podcast.
Because like right now, a lot of these topics and conversations, they're like all right off the cuff. It's just like no pre-planning. Like the topic, yes, but just like we're spitballing as we go. We're like we might talk behind the scenes, like what we think, but just everything is just raw, first take. Like what we're saying is freestyle.
So today we got, man, tell them what video we got today, man.
Today we got memorable feuds. Now, everyone who was into wrestling has that one feud they watched growing up. They're just like, man, 20 years later, they're telling their kids that are into wrestling, man, that feud was what I grew up on. That was the feud I like to watch. I could go back and watch any of those matches from the feuds 20 times over.
And it stick to you. Before we start, though, you sure you want to keep those on? You know the comment section. You know the comment section.
They already seen me with them, man.
You know the comment section be wild.
They already seen me with them.
Talk about Urkel been going through. They was on there with him in the comment section.
You ain't see that video when they said Urkel been going through.
Which one was that one?
I think that was like our second.
That was like our second video or something.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I just wanted to point that out because you know the glass should really be on that.
Yeah, I changed myself up a little bit, went with a hoodie and stuff.
Yeah, we gotta come on here with more wrestling gear too. My man,
I want my blood.
It's all good. I'm finna get my wrestling merchandise.
I got I'm Bulls Nation.
I mean, Nike. It's all good.
I'll make sure that every wrestling show I go to, I gotta bring home some merch.
Yeah, you got to. But yeah, we got memorable feuds, man. We got it on. Like it's been a lot of feuds, great feuds. I ain't lie. I'm gonna kick us off. I got one of my favorite feuds of all time. I'm not gonna lie. This feud was personal. I'm talking about brutal. I'm talking about Chris Jericho and Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about Chris Jericho was babyface before this feud first started.
The second one, right?
Yeah,
not the one from WrestleMania.
No, the one that happened at 07 going into 08.
Yeah, okay, cool, yeah.
So that was babyface Chris Jericho. He wasn't really doing much, but all of a sudden he was in the mix with Shawn Michaels, and it was like other people in the mix too.
Do you remember how it kicked off though?
One that cause I was just watching wrestling premiere video on that feud.
Okay, what happened was Batista and Shawn Michaels was having their match, and Shawn Michaels faked that knee injury against Batista, and he super kicked Batista and won, and Chris Jericho like, dude, that wasn't right. Like, why did you fake an injury?
Right. It was Batista in that feud.
Yeah. So what happened? They made Chris Jericho the bad guy for showing sympathy.
Exactly. Okay. Now you just refresh my memory.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's the reason why Chris turned heel. Because the fans, and that's how the suit Chris Jericho came about, and calling the fans hypocrites.
Because I'm like, that's one of the crazy. Like you gonna get mad at him for being morally right.
Like Shawn Michaels was the one. Thank you for that, because I was just I remember what happened, but it was like it kind of threw me off. So but the whole moral of the story of that feud was that Chris Jericho was painted out as a bad person for no reason. And it's because Shawn Michaels was so loved and stuff by the fans. It was like, what? But so that sparked a real great heel run for Chris Jericho. And
real quick, was that the one for I'm the best in the world
at what I do? Yeah, and that was the suit. And the hypocrites and the parasites and that Chris Jericho.
Yeah, that was that man.
Yeah, he was going, and that was when he won the world heavyweight title. Mm-hmm. And him and Shawn Michaels had like a ladder match or something for it, or a match. They had a match though, and Chris Jericho won the world heavyweight title. And I just like the feud because I remember when Chris hit his wife. He punched his wife. And that was at SummerSlam 08. when he punched Shawn Michaels' wife in the face, and that wasn't supposed to really. He hit her too hard, but that made that feud even more personal because it was like, you hit my wife like this. But I like that feud though because like that's two legends, you know, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, and yeah, man, that turned Chris Jericho, that gave Chris Jericho one of the best heel runs he had from that point.
Man, we could talk about Chris Jericho. There's many runs that Chris Jericho that had. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, I like this 2016 run too.
Facts.
You just made the list.
Yeah, that stuff. Yeah.
He got over with that so crazy.
You know what you get for interrupting Chris Jericho?
That's one of the dumbest things that just got so over.
The list, man. That's like Yes getting over.
For me, a feud. Now I'm targeting a particular timetable with this feud. It does involve Shawn Michaels, so I'm kind of piggybacking off of you a little bit.
HB Shizzle.
Is The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels 25-26 WrestleMania
Trilogy, yeah.
Because here's the reason why I liked it, is because it got so personal. They had, the match itself for WrestleMania 29 was unforgettable.
25, 26.
Or, yeah, thank you.
Which one?
Well, 25, then I'm going to lead into 26.
Okay.
So WrestleMania 25, they're going back and forth. Shawn's about to have the defining moment. He's about to beat the streak. He goes for the moonsault. That's the one failed move.
Mm-hmm.
Gets caught. Tombstone. 1, 2, 3. Now, had Shawn Michaels down a little bit. He got his groove back. Gets to the end of the year. Again, wins the Match of the Year Slammy Award.
Right.
And he gets in everything. He's like, you know what? I'm not done. This ain't it. And he's challenging Undertaker, and he's like, oh, I want nothing to do with it. Da 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 da. The Elimination Chamber comes in. Undertaker's defending his title. Undertaker's about to retain his title. Then who else comes out the cage? Shawn Michaels. Super kicks him. Undertaker gets pinned. 1, 2, 3. Loses his title.
Chris Jericho.
Yeah, man.
So wait, yeah, didn't Shawn Michaels come from like under the chamber?
Yeah, he came from under the chamber.
Yeah.
That's tough. I never knew somebody could interfere in the chamber match.
I didn't know you could come through underneath the chamber.
Anything is possible.
That's tough. But yeah, no.
So Undertaker's like, you know, fine. You want a match against me? I'll give it to you. But you got to put your career on the line.
Mm-hmm.
And Shawn Michaels, and this was the goal line from the feud. If I don't beat you, I have no career.
Man. Yeah, that was a tough line. And I ain't gonna lie, not to cut you off, but I liked how Undertaker was like not trying to wrestle him again, like because he was like, I beat you.
He's like, I've already proven.
He was world champion and all types of stuff.
Shawn Michaels was obsessed. Like, I need this. I made one mistake last year.
Well, you could see one thing I missed, and I'm gonna actually go back because I almost forgot, but you reminded me. Is the Royal Rumble. He was bound in term because he knew the only way he was going to get to Undertaker was he had to win the Rumble because then he could challenge the Undertaker and do it. And when he got thrown over, you could just see how distraught he was. He's like, no. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he go back in and start super kicking everybody because he was just that angry?
I don't remember after that.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he was just frustrated and then he just left.
I think he had went back in and like started super kicking everybody.
That was the 2010 Royal Rumble.
Yeah, 2010.
So yeah, that was when Edge came back and won. But
I was gonna say that man Edge, he came back.
And lost, but I'm not gonna talk about that.
I mean, then you could piggyback when he came back again in the Rumble and still lost. Edge returns in Royal Rumbles.
Won 2 Royal Rumbles, lost the title match every time. He lost to Chris Jericho. Surprising. Losing to Chris Jericho in 2020 was surprising.
But I will give.
I don't want to go too off topic with this.
But real quick, just to give Edge credit, both times that man did get a nice ass pop. Like crowd popped
and
off.
He won last year. He won from like number 1.
Yeah, number 1.
That's tough.
Whereas boy Christian came back
he
in.
He ran the Rumble, literally.
But for me, like, just it's memorable because just of everything of like, it was like match of the year. He's like, I need my redemption. Similar to Cena with The Rock, like he wanted his redemption. Yeah. He's like, he challenges Undertaker. I've got nothing to prove against you. All right, goes to the Rumble, tries to run the gauntlet, gets eliminated. He's frustrated. Still, so Undertaker's in the chamber. He's like, all right, I only know one way of getting my match. Kicks him, loses, and then just culminates all at WrestleMania 26. Now, both of them to me, were good. Both WrestleMania and 25 and 26. They were both unforgettable, show-stopping match. I mean, the man's called Mr. WrestleMania for a reason. But even though Shawn Michaels lost, for me, that's a feud I'll always remember and grow up in, because that was really like the defining era. They're both Attitude Era superstars, and they're still having these banger-type matches, like basically 20 years later.
Yeah, that's two of the greatest matches I've probably ever seen. Just that, yeah, the matches was crazy.
Oh, they went against each other in a tag team match.
That wasn't good.
I know, but I'm just saying it was still, the feud still kind of kept going.
No, they could have died after that. They could have died after 2010. We would have been good with that.
Come on, man.
It was a perfect end.
Triple H was the only one that was really decent in that match.
Well, and then to carry it over, Triple H was like, all right, I'm going to try to get that redemption for Shawn, but also prove to myself that I can win.
And Kane, I ain't gonna lie, Kane wasn't bad, but Kane was, yeah, it wasn't good.
He was a little, Kane put 50, he was a little out of shape a little bit. You can see
that just wasn't a good match to do. It was money, it was for bread, and because that's too, but that wasn't good.
Well, I wasn't saying like as far as the match aspect, because don't get me wrong, that match was trash.
You just saying the story,
but the feud just kind of kept going.
It was 20 years too late.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but man,
so for me, unforgettable feud.
Now, when I think about unforgettable feuds, I think about feuds that are personal. I think of feuds that I like. Just I didn't go one of my favorites. I'm gonna start it off with Edge and John Cena. Now, growing up,
no, I did talk about this one off camera,
yeah.
but I decided not to list it.
Now, John Cena and Edge. This is my childhood, so John Cena became the man. Like, it was established. John Cena's the man. He coming out of WrestleMania. He been champion for like 8-9 months. Yeah, he been champion for like, it's been a little minute. He's been champion. He's running through the Raw roster. He's red hot.
Yeah.
He won the chamber.
Before you continue, my next one, you gonna like it. And you gonna be mad that you didn't say it. You gonna be mad that I said it before you, but go ahead. Just go ahead and
I
continue.
gotta think.
Edge and John Cena though, that, yeah. Okay.
But you know, this is my childhood. You know, when you were, like I said, when you were a kid and you watch wrestling, like wrestling is never gonna be as good as you are like as it is when you were a kid.
Because you grown now, it's like
yeah, like you believe all that stuff is real. Like there's probably some kids right now that's watching this stuff and they're like, oh my god, you know, like
they don't know it's scripted.
Yeah.
Well, I think what it is, and not to cut you off, I think what it is like when you're growing up and you're watching wrestling for the first time, it's just like for you, what you watch, you stick out. Like that's like the bar that you're set out. So like that first match or those first feuds you saw, you're like, man, this is pretty good. So then as you're going throughout the years, you're like, man, this ain't what it used to be. So yeah, like he said, there's kids nowadays watching stuff in 2022, they're like, man, these are great.
It's crazy, yeah. And but to us, because we older, we look at it like this. And see, when them kids get older, it's generational.
For sure. You know? I talk to old heads and like John Cena ain't touching Rocky.
Right. See, like it's
generational.
generational.
Type of stuff.
Well, the big thing is wrestling constantly evolves, and that's what it is.
Sure.
So what we see now, people will see something completely different 20 years from now, and then their kids will see something different. So the feuds and wrestling moments will always keep changing, and that's the one thing. I'm not trying to go too broad, but like with wrestling, that's one good thing. It's never the same. It's constantly changing, constantly evolving. Like survival of the fittest. Just keep going until you get somewhere with it.
So with John Cena and Edge, like it felt personal. Like dudes throwing each other in lakes, people getting their daddy slapped,
like in their hometown,
in their house. You know, he talking about his pee stains on Cena floor and stuff. Like John Cena FUing his girlfriend.
Slut basket leader.
Oh, bro. Like, all types of stuff. Edge throwing the WWE Championship in the lake that John Cena basically created. Like, it's very, very personal. Like, dudes beating each other in each other's hometowns.
I did like the title though that he did unveil, his version of the spinner title.
I did like
that.
And then New Year's Revolution.
Edge catching.
Yeah, that like after a brutal match like that just added to this title after he went through a war. Like
it constantly got personal because like you look at 2012 and shit, like when Cena was preparing for like Brock Lesnar, he's even reiterating it's like I want to see John Cena that threw me into the Long Island Sound. I want to see the John Cena that after I slapped his dad came into my hometown and beat me in my match and put me through 2 tables off a ladder.
Yeah, like Edge was firing him up. Like, do that to
so,
it was that personal that he carried all this, like, 6-7 years later.
So when I think of feuds, when I think of memorable feuds, I say there is no John Cena without Edge. There is no Edge without John Cena. They're like yin and yang. Like, they helped elevate each other. They helped build each other into superstar status, like GOAT status. It all started right there. So, it's my feud right there.
I definitely agree with that. Like Edge and Cena had a real personal feud. Like, that's one of them ones that it make you gonna always remember that. Like, but I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, like that says something. It like you can tell like with a lot of people generates because that's even with me because in one of our other videos I even referenced one of my favorite matches of all time was John Cena versus Edge, Unforgiven 2006 in Edge's hometown. Right. So that just goes to show how much that feud's memorable because even I like it. Right. I like the match. I like the rivalry. I left it up to Bro to do it because of course I wanted to get my Shawn Michaels Undertaker feud in.
You can never go wrong with that.
Exactly.
Bro. But I got a real great. This feud was disgusting.
Where you going with it?
Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero.
Oh man, come on, bro. Gosh. Come on, bro.
Still being referenced to this day by Dominic.
Custody of Dominic Mysterio. Custody, bro. A custody match.
Like, Dominic Guerrero. I think you go to mullet that and let me not.
Dominic who?
Dominic Guerrero.
Y'all heard him? But nah, the thing about this feud was Rey Mysterio always got the better of Eddie Guerrero.
Fluky though.
Like, he'll
roll ups, all that type of stuff.
Like I remember the one we was watching when Vicky didn't come down in time to do her spot, and Eddie was blue like, where's Vicky? Like just angry, bro. It's like, but that feud because they was best friends and they was tag team champions and all that, like family, like. But the rivalry was so great because they both had great chemistry in the ring. Eddie was the heel and he was sick, and Ray was the underdog babyface, and Eddie was targeting his son, like, Uncle Eddie. I remember he went to the party, he wants some candy, like just sick, bro, like.
They said during because it took a couple takes because Dominic said some stuff about this. It was like every take he gave him like a piece of candy or something just to make him like comfortable.
Right.
Because they just had to retake that.
Yeah, so I just liked it. I like the feud because that's a great rivalry. Like that's two greats. Like rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, sir.
We didn't get to really see how far he could have kept going in his career because he passed, suddenly. But that's something that, I remember, and I'm still watching, in that year right now in 2005. And
my favorite year.
I was, I didn't have the fortune of watching that live. I was like 5 years old. So I wasn't really watching wrestling like, I started watching a little later, like 7, 8. That was around like 08-ish. In 07, going into the PG era. Yeah. So for me to go back myself and watch that year and then see that feud and see how Eddie Guerrero was, it's crazy. I wish I could have seen it live. So like, that's crazy.
Just to think about how over he was as a babyface. That same year, then just become this sickly heel. Like that same year.
Crazy, bro.
Well, what got me with all of it is like you mentioned, like they were tag partners and Mysterio was a babyface. The common denominator for Rey Mysterio, even recently, is every tag partner he has screws him over.
His friends do him in.
He can't catch a break.
His friends he considers family. even his own flesh and blood son, he is constantly this man literally asked to go to a different brand because he did not want to confront his son.
Quit. He say, I'm not.
Hey, what Triple H said, he's like,
no, it's like you're being irrational. Let's go in and talk.
He's like, we can figure something out. Like, you Rey Mysterio.
And they posted, for me, I saw that on Instagram. It's like, oh, WWE reports Rey Mysterio's going to SmackDown.
Right. It's like, and then I seen something on Instagram earlier where Dominic was like, I see, he's like Hefe, I guess that's how you say pops or whatever in they language. And he was like, I see you went to SmackDown because you couldn't deal with the judgment there on Raw. Like, Dominic, he coming into his own, though, and all he got to do is they just got to keep letting him talk, getting comfortable behind the mic, and he going to be decent with that group. That's my favorite faction right now. But, yeah, Rey Mysterio, he can't catch a break, man. Eddie, Batista, like you said, his own son, destroying him, like, running him away from Raw. Like, come on, man. Pray for Eddie. Pray for Ray.
Rest in peace, Dave.
Rest in peace, Eddie.
Yeah, I miss.
No, we get you, bro. We get you.
We had in the last video a couple of missed words. I said cross words instead of crossroads.
We talk too much, man.
Yeah, trying to talk fast. Who's it on now?
So it's on me.
Back on this one.
So for me, even though it wasn't like a long-standing feud.
So we'll do one more then.
Yeah.
Like, you do your last one, he do it, because I did too.
So for me, like I said, it wasn't a long-standing feud. It didn't go on for like that long, but I did like it, and it is outside of WWE. I'm going to keep that in mind. It was
of course, we knew he was gonna do one outside of WWE.
It's only right, man. It's in AEW, huh?
Actually, no, it's not, and it actually does have some legends in it from WWE.
It's probably TNA.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the best of 7 tag team series between the Wolves, Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, versus the Hardy Boys versus Team 3D. Now this...
You probably don't remember this feud. No, I don't either.
So, it was personal. Like, Jeff had just brought Matt in because Matt had been out dealing with his own problems outside of wrestling.
Right.
So they brought him in. Team 3D is like, all right, well, we're decorated tag champs. The Hardys like, well, we're decorated tag champs. They both wanted a shot. So Wolves come out there like, you know what? We respect both of your teams as legends. So we'll take you both on. And I mean, they had everything from ladder matches to TLC matches, table matches, like even just regular matches. But for me, like I was guaranteed every single match was going to be a banger no matter what happened, because these are 3 teams, both 2 that have been around for a while and 1 up and coming.
Right.
And the up and coming ones ended up retaining through it all. So they really defined themselves as a good tag team. They're like, look, we came in and beat not 1 but 2 Hall of Fame tag teams, because Team 3D is both in the WWE Hall of Fame and the Impact Hall of Fame. So they're 2-time Hall of Famers. So they'll literally have that as a defining moment in their career to be like, look, we beat 2 Hall of Fame teams. Nobody can take that away from us.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they're no longer tagging together. At least in Impact, they are tag teaming in other indie promotions.
Right. I ain't gonna lie, this is probably off topic, but my favorite tag team from TNA was probably the Machine Guns. Alex Shelley
and
Chris Sabin. They was cold back then. I just wanted to say that.
Oh no, that's fine. I would have loved to have seen them face the Wolves. Honestly, that would have been a good match to see.
You like LAX?
Oh yeah.
Santana Ortiz.
But yeah, they used to go crazy.
Hernandez.
They used to be in TNA too.
Yeah. LAX used to be
that was
crazy.
cool.
But
Mexican joints.
But for me, I liked it because it was an up and coming tag team that were defining themselves and
beating 2 legendary tag teams
and having that defining moment that nobody can take away from them.
Yes.
And they ended up, I think, being at the end of that 5-time TNA tag team champions. I think during their time in TNA.
Decent,
Eddie Edwards is still there, but Davey Richards is off doing his own thing.
Right.
So. But yeah, for me, the Wolves versus the Hardys versus Team 3D.
If y'all remember that feud, man, drop it in the comments. Say something about it.
real quick, not to go tell. Just as you're watching the video, drop down below what you think is your unforgettable match, whether it's from any of our feuds or a feud of your own. And we'll go. And we haven't seen it in a while. Maybe we'll go watch it back. Maybe we might even react to it. Who knows?
Yeah, drop that down.
I think y'all like. I love when people want to kill each other. Like I love physicalness. I love brutality.
Recently. It's not a recent.
Recent or old school?
It's old school.
Alright.
Not that old school.
I thought you was
Attitude Era?
Gunther and Sheamus.
I do like
That is
not
a
all
good
the time. Not all the time though, but it's up there. I'm gonna go with Batista and Undertaker from 07.
Oh, that feud.
Now look.
That was the lead up to WrestleMania.
But that was the
23.
Rumble.
Okay.
Yeah. Undertaker won the Royal Rumble. He said, "I want to fight Batista." Now, I don't think there was that many words said in this feud. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't remember a lot of promos and stuff going into this feud. I remember dudes just looking at each other intensely. Undertaker had Batista, John Cena, Bobby Lashley lined up. He walking down. He looking at all the titles. He turned back to Batista like, "Yeah, it's a go time."
Yeah.
No words said. Batista like,
You know what time it is.
Batista like, you see what I'm doing?
Yeah.
I ain't intimidated. Batista is like the man. He's established. Like him and Cena are like Cena, Batista, Cena, but like this.
Bobby Lashley was ECW champion.
Yeah.
You knew he shouldn't even have been on the stage.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
Bobby, that's Bobby. Like the man. The title don't make the man. The man make the title. Man.
You knew Undertaker was the champion for the ECW.
Now hold on, not to cut you off because I want to make sure I'm in the right time frame. Is this also? Oh wait, no, you said Undertaker won the Rumble. Never mind. I'm thinking of
This was
the
07.
Batista Cena double elimination thing. I think.
Oh, yeah, that's
that was
05.
that was 05.
This 07. You keep getting that confused.
I keep getting confused because during this whole time period, I'm like, because every time I reference Batista, I'm like, is that the Rumble where they both fell down?
No, that's when Batista fought Triple H and Cena fought JBL.
JBL,
Oh, okay, so that was two.
This was 07.
Yeah, so it's like really no words are being said in this feud though. Like it's, I don't remember a lot of promos. I just remember two big beefy dudes
Slapping
me.
This is Bro's calling card.
He gonna be a trademark.
Oh, now look, bro. I do remember their first WrestleMania match. Was it the main event? It might have been the main event. It was either him or Cena and Shawn. Like, it don't matter. It was a great match. Undertaker is the streak versus the title. I don't know if Undertaker fought for many titles before this at WrestleMania, but it was the streak versus the title.
Well, you said WrestleMania 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Shawn and Cena. That was the main event. Or
Right.
second to main
But
event.
but these are two men. You couldn't go wrong with putting either one of them in the main event.
Yeah.
It's Batista, Undertaker. So Batista's a real threat to end the streak, and not only can he end the streak, it's title on the line. So they have a match.
So it's even more like motivation to try to beat him.
Yeah, they had a match. I think this feud went on for like a whole year, from like beginning of 07 to like Survivor Series when Edge came in and messed up the Hell in a Cell match they had or whatever it was. But dudes it's just physical. Undertaker keeps the streak. He go to 14-0 at that point, 15-0. He was still undefeated.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
I think it was 14.
So now Batista come out. I told you this feud. Not many words are said in this feud. Batista come out. No, Undertaker come out. He's like But before Undertaker even talked, Batista come out. He's like, "Congratulations, I won my rematch." Drop the mic, bell out.
Like just it's nothing to really talk about. You know what it is, and that's the great thing about that rivalry. You didn't need to have no full blown promos.
I don't remember.
There
a lot
was
of words.
two established dudes already, and action spoke for itself.
Well, these were two men already from the jump during the time period that weren't really promo heavy guys. They're like, let my actions speak more than my words.
Yeah, like Batista would cut a promo every blue, but Undertaker really didn't cut that many promos in his career, really. Like
unless he was biker taker.
Right, like.
But I remember. So now he's like, "I want my rematch." What they do? Tay Long, he books the last man standing match. Again, two big beefy men trying to kill each other, slapping meat.
Real quick, let us know in the comments down below if we should make that one of our trademark t-shirts.
We don't think we can trademark that.
Beefy man slapping meat.
It's going crazy.
That don't sound right.
I know.
I never get it. It's like you love to say it, and I just sit here every time, and I'm trying not to laugh like bro is over here. I'm just like
it ain't supposed to sound right.
Like every time, like even off camera, like we would just be talking about matches that might have happened recently, and he was coming over. It's like, yeah, there's just two big beefy men just slapping me.
Like Gunther and Sheamus.
Exactly.
Two big
two big beefy men slapping me just every time.
Okay, but it is true. They are two big beefy men slapping me. So they had the match. Undertaker won. Batista come out and say, I want the rematch, blah, blah, blah. They had a match at Backlash. I think that was their last man standing match. Now, this is one of the best last man standing matches I've ever seen. I think it ended, Batista speared Undertaker off the stage, and like the stage, something, whatever they were, it fell off. And it ended in no contest. Now, I don't like really when title matches end in no contest. I'm like, that's a weak thing.
Right.
We want to keep two people strong, but I was cool with that because it's like these two tried to kill each other.
Yeah.
So it goes on all year. I think they had another match inside Steel Cage. Like a month later.
Yeah.
That's when I forgot who won. No, Undertaker won. He pulled it out. Undertaker pulled it out. That's when Edge cashed. Mark Henry came out, destroyed Undertaker. Edge cashed in, won.
They hated Edge for that.
For sure.
The commentary was livid. They just blew.
And then I know it ended at Cyber Sunday.
What was Mark Henry doing anyway?
I don't remember that part. I gotta go back and look, man.
He probably was just
unless Edge, talking like, hey, go
do that.
Yeah, help me out. Yeah. I don't remember. I can't remember all that though, but
yeah, Batista and Undertaker was a good feud though, for sure.
And then they had the match at Survivor Series. I think it was supposed to be the final one.
Yeah.
And Edge came out and destroyed the match, and I think Batista retained. I think he was the champion going in.
Right.
So they had that match. Batista retained, I think, and that's they had a triple threat match at the next pay-per-view. But when I think about like rivalries, when I think about in terms of like I love like promos and stories and all that, but I don't really remember like the story. The story was just like, we two big dudes, we want the world title, we're gonna try to kill each other. That's it. Well, do you remember? Do you remember?
That's really all it gotta be, and that's what made that great because it told itself, it told itself, But I want to throw an honorable mention in here. I ain't gonna go into detail. I'm gonna just say this is one of my favorite feuds: John Cena and Randy Orton.
Facts.
That's one of my favorite feuds.
What about the Usos and New Day?
That's definitely one up there for sure in the tag team ranks. Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna go with one that didn't last too long. I'm gonna go with the Shield and the Wyatt family.
Yeah, Shield and the Wyatt family definitely could have had a little more.
For me, I'm gonna go with, and this is always gonna be a good one to me, even though it's recent, even though it's two up and coming dudes. But I liked Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose during the time. For me,
that was decent too.
For me, it reminded me of. Like as far as wrestling ability, they were not related, but it's just like to me it reminded me like, okay, so we did Cena and Orton, now we're trying to find another feud that we can go with for years to come.
Yeah.
And they were trying to go with Rollins and Ambrose, and I thought for the matches they had, they did a good job.
Yeah, they did. Dean Ambrose got the way everything he touched, it just be gold. Like even back then, and then John Moxley. So it's like and then I ain't gonna lie, I got one more that I liked a lot. On the female side of things, I got Charlotte and Sasha Banks. They whole trilogy for the Raw Women's Championship. It was going trading hands back and forth. That's really one of the main reasons why Charlotte, a 13-time champion. Sasha traded the title 6 times back and forth, But that was the matches was great though,
For me, one more would have to be another honorable mention. Cena and Styles, just the back and forth matches they had, and then for it to culminate with.
I was thinking about it.
And for it to culminate with John Cena again, his 16th World Championship.
That Royal Rumble match was crazy. Match at SummerSlam was crazy.
It's crazy that they topped that match at SummerSlam.
Like he made sure at Royal Rumble, he's like, "No, I'm not gonna hit you with 1, not 2. I'm hitting you with 3."
Oh yeah, the roll up,
through. He turned.
I was upset the man only had the title for I think it was like a month, and then he dropped it.
He was in Hollywood. He was in Hollywood already.
Yeah, he dropped it to Wyatt.
To the eater of worlds. But yeah, man, that's our most memorable, most notable feuds that we just remember to this day. Let us know in the comment section what y'all favorite feuds of all time.
Oh wait,
y'all know.
Just a couple honorable mentions. I'm going with Jey Uso and Roman.
Oh yeah, come on, man. How we
going
forget Cody and Seth.
You
probably was gonna say that next.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. Like WWE wants to get together, they can tell a good story.
If we wanted to, this video could go on for hours
the feuds. Yeah, this would be too long. So we'll do this in parts if y'all want to.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
We'll label this as part 1.
Yeah, so yeah. But yeah, man. That's it for this video. Make sure y'all keep subscribing, liking, comment, do what y'all do to the channel.
Tell everybody about the channel, man.
We gonna
tell your mama,
man.
Tell your daddy, tell your baby mama, tell your grandma, tell your drug dealer, tell his connect to tell, all that. Like
everybody. Just tell
the Uber driver that you had take you back home so you could go watch this video. We on the road to 200 subscribers.
Tell your barber. Tell everybody we going global.
200 subs on the way. We at 163. We literally like 30 subscribers or like 40 subscribers away from 200.
Keep hitting that subscriber button. We on the road to 200.
Run up the likes.
Let's go to the next video, man. I'm your boy Marlo.
I'm your boy Amity.
Money making Jay.
And we out.